Welcome to this Aether Strikers guide. First up, we'll be covering on the basic combos of the Aether Strikers. There are three combos for the Aether Strikers. As you've seen, we have the 3 light, and then next up we have the 1 light and 2 combos. I mean 2 heavy, 1 light 2 heavy combo. And the last one we have the 3 heavies. The first thing I want to point out with the combos is that the things you need to pay attention to is the first combo doesn't consume stamina, whereas the second and third combo, which is the 1 light and 2 heavy and the 3 heavy, consumes stamina. So keeping that in mind, you want to plan your attacks according to the amount of stamina you have left and which combo that you're going to use when fighting the behemoth, so that you can plan for dodging the behemoth attack and like running away or repositioning yourself. Alright, if you can play the mantras. I'll just let this one play through and I'll talk on it when it goes on to the next section. Okay, so you can pause it there. So your mantras are basically the number of combos that you do and when you activate them. So there are three mantras. So the first one is your Tempest form, which can be activated by doing one combo. You can do either 3 lights or 1 light 2 heavy, or 3 heavies, and then you activate them to get your Tempest form. And then next up you have your Karma Breaker, which you can get by completing 2 combos. In any combinations, you can do either 3 heavies or 1 light 2 heavy, or you can either do 3 lights and 3 heavies to activate your Karma Breaker. And then the last mantra, you need to do a total of 3 combos to get either your Titan's Crash or Adamant Bolt, which is determined by whatever special you have on, which we'll cover towards the end of the video on the specials and mods. Next up, we'll have the Surgeon. So Surgeon is another ability that comes with the Ace Strikers, which helps you with moving around. Since the Ace Strikers is a close brawler type weapon, so you have to keep in mind all the time on your stamina consumption, which is a great thing that we added in the Surge ability, which helps reduce your stamina consumption. The things Surgeon can do for you is you can use for dodging, which you can see from the video. You can also use it for repositioning yourself, so when the behemoth is about to attack you, you can reposition yourself where the behemoth won't attack you. Also, you can also close the distance between you and the behemoth. So sometimes you can get a surge off after you interrupt the behemoth. So straight after you interrupt the behemoth, you can surge to the behemoth, and then you can continue dealing damage to the behemoth. To gain your surging, you can get them through completing any combos. So you can do just 1 light attack, you already get a surge. And then you can get another surge by when you activate your mantras. So let's say if you get your Tempest form, you already have your surge up. So if you want to close the distance between you and the behemoth, you can surge to the behemoth, activate your Tempest form again, and then surge to the behemoth again. So you get 2 surges per mantras. Yeah. So even if you have your combo breaker on, you as soon as you use your combo breaker, it'll give you back another surge. So that will help you to reposition yourself again. So if you do your combo breaker before you use it, you already have a surge, and then when you use it again, you'll get another surge back. Same thing goes with the Titan Crash and Element Ball. So you get 2 surges per mantras. Any questions?
You mentioned repositioning using it. That was just to geographically move yourself from one point to another. It wasn't anything else apart from that you meant, was it?
Yeah. So when you reposition yourself, it depends on whether you wanna uh, evade a attack or if you wanna focus a part. So especially in trials, if you're trying to focus a break part, just to cut down on your time spent in trials, if you're focusing on the right side. So sometimes when a behemoth moves around and then you get put on the left side, you can surge to the right side because surging allows you to surge through the behemoth. Oh, and another very important note that I missed out on, surging does not have any iframes. So if you think that surging through a behemoth attack won't register, it will hit you. So it's better that you surge away from the behemoth rather than
Ah,
through the behemoth when it's attacking.
oh yeah. That's important.
If there's no more questions, we shall continue. It's saving your mantras. So you want to pay attention to the icons you have on the top left, since all the mantras have a timer, which can be seen by that long blue bar. So if you can see in the video that I was about to run out of my Tempest form, and then I saved it by attacking Divines for Koshai, and it saved my Tempest form. You can pause. Not only you can save your mantra on Koshai's Vines, anything that you can deal damage to, you can save your mantra. So that includes those Garys, Styxians, even Stormclaws, fence the poles, not the electric part of it. You'll die from that. Even the Zygus pylons that shoot out the orbs. So anything that you can deal damage to, you can use that to save your mantras.
Especially in Scarf Trial,
I have
they
no idea where
build
we
the
are up to because
mantra
it's
based
super laggy.
using the ice, right?
Hello?
Kadaver. Usually in Scarf Trial, they build the mantra using the ice spike.
So you mean
Wait,
hitting
can you
those?
guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, hitting the.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Evil?
I can hear you.
Kadaver.
I can hear you, Cowbell.
Hello?
Yeah. So I was saying like usually in Scarf Trial to
Hmm.
build the mantra faster, they hit the ice bomb.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
usually in the first animation, Scarf will throw the ice as well, right?
Yeah, those ice balls that he throws at you, you can build off your mantra from that, but you want to be very careful when you're trying to build off your mantra from the ice balls because if you move too close, because when you're doing your combo, it kind of pushes your character forward.
Yeah.
So if you move too close to it, it will freeze you. So you just want to reposition
Yeah.
yourself like a bit back so that as long as your last attack for that combo hits, then that
Yeah,
will
True.
like one
Yep.
yeah.
shot.
True.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm. All right. So we were at the wait. We just finished the maximum damage, right? Because I didn't know where we were up to because it was lagging for me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So going back to the maximum damage for strikers, to get out the maximum damage for strikers, you need both the mantras activated. So you need your Tempest form and your Karma Breaker active before doing your Adamant Bolt or your Titan Scratch. And if you were paying attention to the video, if you saw that I did a two-part, like one with your Tempest form and Combo Breaker active, and one without both of them active. So I showed that the amount of damage that you get out from when you have both active and once you don't have both active. So with the Tempest Form and Combo Breaker active, I got about 2000 damage plus from the Aether Strikers. And the one that I didn't have both of them active, I only got 1000 damage from the Aether Strikers. So you want to be sure to have your Tempest Form and Combo Breaker active to get the maximum damage out of the Aether Strikers. So it reduces it by half when you have your when you don't have your Tempest and Combo Breaker active.
Yeah. So when you say active, you mean by those little head up icons. You know those little
Yeah,
icons underneath, don't you?
yeah. You need to be sure to keep an eye out on that.
You got that little circle icon there, and looks like
The
a
guy
little.
that's the guy reaching.
Well, this is the first time I've actually seen it in a still. I used to think it was like a little fire, like a little bush, like a little someone starting up a little fire. But now that you mention it, there is a little guy in the middle of it.
Yeah, so it's like going like angry or
Yeah,
super saiyan or something. Yeah,
and
so you want to keep an eye out on those two icons.
and to do that, that's a Q, isn't it?
Yeah,
You hit the Q on PC, you hit the Q button to
so I'm not too sure about console though.
and they're timed. How long's it? What's the timer go for?
Uh, I
Do
think
you
it's
know?
about 20 seconds. For the Comet Breaker, the first form, the Tempest form, you get about the same time only if you have your Cyclonic Strike Plate mod slotted in. But if not, you'll have to keep reactivating your Tempest form like every 10 seconds, I think, for your Tempest form. If you have the Echo Brace driver on instead of the Cyclonic Strike Plate, which we'll cover towards the end of the video where I cover in specials and mods.
Okay, all right. I'll just run the video forward again to the next bit.
Mm. Yeah, the next bit will show you how to keep an eye out on your mantras and when to activate them. Mm.
Okay, we're up to
Yeah.
reactivating mantra now.
This is where you'll need to pay close attention to those icons you have on the top left corner. So when it's about to run out, you want to be sure to reactivate your Tempest form and your Comma Breaker again. Because once it's gone, your Collapse and Adamant Bolt won't do as much damage again. So you have to keep in mind to reactivate your Tempest form and Comma Breaker. Another way that you can know when to reactivate your mantras is when you see that the Comma Breaker aura is gone from the behemoth. So if you don't see like those lines going around the behemoth, that means you need to reactivate your Tempest form and Comma Breaker, because that lines there are indicators that your Comma Breaker is active, and the color of those lines determines by whichever element that you have on. So if you're using shock weapons, those lines the aura will be yellow. If it's frost, it'll be blue, and blaze, fire, so forth and so on.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's like two ways you can know when to reactivate your mantras.
Dauntless
Right.
has a lot of visual cues that you sort of like miss, I reckon, if you didn't know what to look
Mm.
for.
Oh, there is another way, the third way. But if you pay close attention to the first and second one, the third one you won't have to worry about. The third way, which I think I should have added into the video, is by audio cues. Um, Especially with your third mantra, with your claps and element bolt. So if you do a clap with both the mantras up, it'll sound much more stronger when you're doing the clap or adamant bolt. But when you don't have the Tempest Form or Karma Breaker active, your clap and your adamant bolt will sound like it's like weak and it's like running low on energy. So I think if you guys wanna hear that, I think you can just go back to the maximum damage one and just compare the sound between with and without the Tempest and Karma Breaker active. I think I should have added that one in. So there are three ways that you can pay attention to when to reactivate your mantras.
I think the explosion is also less, right? Kadaver for Titan Crash.
Yeah,
Like a small explosion only, poof.
yeah. So it's like less AOE damage compared to
Yeah.
the bigger one when having the 10% Karma Breaker active. All right, so we shall continue into interrupting or booping. There are many ways that you can interrupt with AETHER strikers. You can do one heavy, you can do the second combo, you can also use the Karma Breaker, or you can use the Titan Clap or the Adamant Bolt. So since there are many ways that you can interrupt with the AETHER strikers, the most recommended one that I would suggest for you to use when interrupting or booping the behemoth is using the one light and two heavy combo. The reason being is that it is much more safer compared to the others, because when you try and interrupt just by using the only heavy attack, there's a high chance of you trading. Whereas the one light two heavy, you have like a lesser chance of trading with the behemoth. And note, you wanna only interrupt the behemoth with your second combo during the flurry of the heavy attacks. So you can do the one light attack and then interrupt it during the heavy attacks. So using the second combo, I recommend you to use that for interrupting and booping over the others, because you would have a higher chance of trading with the behemoth.
Kadaver, I just realized Enderman Bolt can boop though.
Oh, yeah, anything that does a lot of damage can can boop.
Oh,
Yeah, the
oh,
adamant bolt.
all right, all right. But Enderman Bolt has no stagger damage at all, right?
Yeah, yeah, it has no stagger damage,
Ah,
but it can
yeah.
interrupt. Mm.
Oh, it can interrupt. I just realized though, because
Yeah,
well, it's a bit hard to use Enderman Bolt for interrupt as well because the animation
it
takes a
takes
bit
longer.
longer time, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
All
if you
right.
wanna be fancy, you can use the adamant bolt
Yeah,
for.
yeah, yeah. So fancy, like flying and booping.
You'd have to time it though, wouldn't you? Because you got to build it up,
Yeah,
and then you got
yeah.
to know that you can interrupt with it, which I
Mm.
think for me would be the hard part.
Yeah, so that's why I
Yeah.
recommend the second combo for interrupting, because it's much more faster and safer.
But I reckon some pro players, including Kadaver, of course, when they do trial, because they use 6 overpower, they want to do the boop first, and then they do the Titan Crest. So
Yeah,
they seldom do Titan Crest for booping because your overpower won't be counted in the Titan Crest, right? But if you boop first, the behemoth is staggered, then any damage you do afterwards will be overpowered. So that's the reason why, even though they have full combo for Titan Crest, they didn't use it. Instead, they did second combo and then did the clap afterward.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that
Alright,
makes sense.
so we got a question from Jay. He asks that sometimes, like especially I think during trials, you see that I think he's referring to Koshai when they interrupt using the second combo, but in the air. So he's asking like sometimes he tries to do that, but it doesn't like register for him, because I think with with that you wanna time it properly, because you have a, I think, 1 second window after doing the light attack on the ground and then jumping and then doing your heavy attack. So with that, you wanna do the one light attack on the ground. Don't wait too long, maybe just wait for a second and then just jump and then do your heavy attack. So that will allow you to do the flurry of heavy attacks in the air to interrupt Koshai. I hope that's what you are trying to. Right. Thanks for bringing that up, Jay. Yeah, so that's another way you can boop a behemoth um, in the air, especially for Koshai. Yeah, so you want to do the light attack on the ground, and then just do your flurry of heavy attacks in the air. You can also use your heavy attack, like just jump and heavy attack to interrupt.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, but it's
Ah.
very tricky one doing the second combo, and then first one in on the ground, and then second one in the air, right? Because like
Yeah,
miss timing,
yeah,
then you will not build that second combo.
yeah. So if you wait too long, instead of doing those flurry of attacks, you'll just do the normal heavy attack. So you don't
Yeah.
wanna do the light attack too early.
Mm.
Okay. If no one have any questions, we'll go on to the last bit of our presentation, which will be covering all the specials and mods. So first up, we'll have the mods. You can pause it there, Evo. Thank you. So we have two specials currently for the Aether Strikers. We have the Titan's Crash and Adamant Ball. So I separated to compare the two. So with the Titan's Crash, it is highly recommended for more DPS build since it does stagger damage and part damage, so there's more chances to proc overpower. So since it does like stagger damage, the behemoth get knocked down a lot, so you get more use out of the overpower cell. So compared to the adamant ball, which only does part damage, so you'll rarely do any stagger damage or like knockouts for the behemoth. So the Titan's Crash is highly recommended for a more DPS build. And continuing with the Titan's Crash, it does lesser part damage than the Adamant Bolt. It does part damage, does stagger damage, and has a faster activation, as Carbell mentioned earlier. So since you have fast activation, you have lesser chances of being hit and can evade attacks from the behemoth. So that way you can, especially if you're doing trials, that will save you, especially if you're trying to go for top times. You want to use Titan's Crash. Next up, we have the Adamant Ball, which is recommended if you're mainly focusing on part break. So if you just wanna just do part breaks, just use Adamant Ball since it has a way higher part damage than Titan's Crash. Also, it doesn't inflict staggered damage, as also stated by Cowbell, and slower activation. So you'll have a high chance of being attacked during the attack animation. And it also, when you're being attacked, it also cancels out your adamant bolt. So you can have two choices. Either you have a surge ready to save that special, or just attack the behemoth by completing one of the combos just to refresh the timer for your mantra, for your adamant bolt. Any questions on the specials for the Aether Strikers?
I heard that Titan's Crash also does damage to other behemoths apart from the one that you're pointing at, like nearby ones. Is that right?
Yeah, it also does the like because since it does AoE damage, so any like minions that's around you, like Garys or Styxians around, but they have to be like a bit close to you in order for you to deal damage to them. Like, but it's better not to use your your Titan's Crash when those minions are around you, because the thing is, those minions, the Garys or Styxians, they will tank those damage, and just like maybe a fraction of that damage will only go to the behemoth. So if you're
Oh, right.
doing
Yeah.
trials, you wanna not clap when the Gary is in front of you because it'll tank all those damage.
Wow, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So it's better if you have like stuff like Garys or stick sense in trials or anywhere if in hunting grounds. It's better if you can use Peng Lantern to just get rid of them. So that way you don't have to worry about those minions tanking all this damage that's supposed to be for the behemoth.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If there's no more questions, we shall move on to the mods, which be the final bit. There are three mods for the Aether Strikers, which are the Cyclonic Strike Plate, Echo Bridge Driver, and the Initial Fist Guard. The Cyclonic Strike Plate it increases the duration of your Tempest form by 10 seconds. When there is less than 10 seconds left of the buff remaining, you'll get gain or deal extra 15% damage. This is a highly recommended mod because you don't have to worry about continuously reactivating your Tempest form when, especially if you have Echo Bridge Driver on, you'll need to keep paying close attention to those icons on the top, since this Tempest form runs out pretty quick if you don't have Cyclonic Strike Plate on. And it's like a highly recommended mod too, since within that last 10 seconds too, it gained 15% damage, which is a really good. 15% damage is a really good buff for you. And second one, we have Echo Bridge Driver, which increases your critical chances dealt by the Karma Breaker by 10% until the buff ends. So the Echo Bridge Driver, it only counts for that aura that's going around the behemoth. So it increases the damage dealt, the critical chances of the damage dealt by the Karma Breaker by 10% until the buff ends, and you can reactivate it just by doing your Karma Breaker again. And the last mod, we have the Initial Fist Guard, which mainly focuses on your Shejin. So now your Surge will deal 25% more damage, and after Surge you gain 5% movement for 8 seconds, which you can stack up to three times. So after you Surge 3 times, you gain about 15% movement speed. I don't really recommend this mod since you'll hardly be doing any surging, and since most of your surging will be focused on repositioning yourself and moving away from attacks, so you'll have lesser times to just to surge through behemoth. And especially with the strikers, you just want to keep focusing uh, the head, whichever part that you're focusing on, and just not moving from one side of the behemoth to the other side. So you just want to be at a single spot of the behemoth most of the time, and just deal continuous damage to that single part. So I don't really recommend the initial first guard for any build. Maybe if you're running a speed build, like movement speed, then yeah, you can use initial fist guard if you want to have some fun. But the highly recommended mod that I suggest for you to use would be the Cyclonic Strike Blade, since you don't have to worry about activating a Tempest form over and over again and paying attention to it. And since it gives a 15% damage when you have less than 10 seconds left.
Mm.
Uh, that brings us to the end of this presentation. If anyone has any videos or needs things to be clarified on, just to sum up everything. So to get out the maximum damage out of the strikers, you need to have your Tempest form and Combo Breaker active before using either of your specials, your Tempest form or your Adamant Bolt. So it's very important to um, always have your Tempest and Combo Breaker active. Use your Surge ability to reduce stamina consumption, close gaps between you and the behemoth, reposition yourself to get out of attacks and focus parts more efficiently, and also to refresh your mantra timer.
And the good thing that I got out of your presentations earlier was that you
Mm.
get two surges. Every every time you press the Q key, you get a surge. Is that right?
Yeah. So no, you don't get two surges when you press the Q key. You
No.
get the first surge when you complete the combo,
Yep.
and then you get the second surge after you activated or hold the Q key. Then you get your second surge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that can, yeah, using the surge can help you save, refresh your mantra timers. Next up is always remember to reactivate your mantras. Very important for Aether Strikers, since reactivating your mantras will allow you to deal the maximum damage the Aether Strikers has to offer you. For interrupted boops, it is safer to use the second combo, the one light attack and two heavy attack, during the heavy attack motion of the second combo.
Yeah. And
Mm.
just to recap, mainly to refresh me as well. The first combo is 3 light attacks. Is that
Mm.
right? Second
Yeah,
combo is 1 light attack, 2 heavy attacks, and the third combo is 3 heavy attacks.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and also keep in mind too that the second and third combo consumes stamina.
And the
Um,
3 light attacks don't.
yeah. So with the Asia Strikers, the thing that you need to worry about, most importantly about, is the stamina. Since especially if you're running like a attack speed, you'll run out of stamina really quick. So it's very important to make sure to use your surges when dodging attacks, or so instead of running to the behemoth far away, you can use your surges to catch up with the behemoth and also reduce the stamina consumption. So just in case if you're running all the way there, you get to the behemoth and the behemoth suddenly gets up and takes a swing at you, you won't have any stamina to dodge. Yeah. So when you surge in, that at least saves you some stamina. So when you get there, if the behemoth suddenly decides to attack you, you still have some stamina left to dodge that attack.
Yeah, that's because surging doesn't consume stamina.
Yeah. So it's
Okay.
very important to use your surges for those stuff, and also refreshing your mantras, especially if you have your Titan's Crash up or your Adamant Bolt and it's about to run out, especially for your Titan's Crash, since Adamant Bolt you can just use it far away. Yeah, so if the behemoth decides to move away from you, you can just surge through the behemoth and just
And then
use
use your
your,
clap.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Because if you just want to run there, by the time you get there, your Titan's Crash might have just ran out the timer for it.
Yeah.
Hmm. Uh, that brings us to the end of the Aether Strikers Guide. Hope that helped anyone who's yet to learn how to use the Aether Strikers.
Wow. That's a really old picture.
Yeah.
But it's a good
I
one.
was wondering as well.
I
Yeah.
like it. I like that picture a lot.